everyone.
Hi everyone.
Hi everyone. I'm Mr. Puckett.
And with those words, I started my YouTube adventure last November with no idea what the heck I was doing. I'd recently left my job at Imager and wondered if I would ever use the app again. And I don't think I ever made it clear publicly just what a low point this was for me. I left so much behind, even my longest running and probably most successful project of all time. All of the friends I had there as co-workers and users of the site, it just felt like everything was gone all of a sudden. Imager wasn't my family, but it was the first place that really accepted me for me. It was my community, it was my neighborhood. And I guess it felt like I didn't have any place to call home anymore. And that's really what I wanted to do on YouTube. I wanted to create a community like I had over there, where everybody could talk about their own issues and relate to each other on another level that we wouldn't have normally done without the internet and without this wholesome community. In that first video, we celebrated all the fundraising for Vanderbilt Children's Hospital, and we cut off my hair and sent it to a kids' cancer charity. But after that, I had no idea what to make a video about or even how to make one. I fumbled through a couple of videos before the channel really took shape as a place where I could communicate once again, and everyone could give feedback, and it started to feel like a community. You saw me talk through some of my most horrific issues that I kept in the dark for so long. But once I brought them to light, they weren't so scary anymore. You saw me change through haircuts and facial hair and all the ridiculous things I did just to make a video, and you saw me conquer so many fears that I would not have done all by myself. Every single video I made, it felt like all of you were right there with me, not only supporting me, but accepting me for who I was. I only had one goal when I started this channel. I read an article about how difficult it was to become a YouTube partner in the first year of making videos. And being as competitive as I was, I set that as my lofty ambition. And I'm happy to report that 9 months after making that first video, and after 4,000 hours of all of you amazing people watching this channel, I was officially accepted into the YouTube Partnership Program. So, what does that even mean? Well, for you the viewer, honestly not much. You'll still see the same videos, with too many shots of my dogs and all of our adventures all over Nashville. You won't have commercials in the middle of the videos, I took those out. But all the ads they play before the videos anyway, I'll now get a share of the revenue from those ads. And all you have to do is let them play through instead of skipping them. Now there are some other cool things we can do with some of the live feeds and fundraising, but the main thing is this small amount of money that can come in from sharing the ad revenue. Now, it's not going to be very much. A couple of pennies every time somebody watches an ad. But those pennies will add up for each video, and every last cent that comes in will go to domestic violence survivors facing homelessness. And it'll just be another fun way that I can give back and encourage others to do the same. And speaking of domestic violence survivors facing homelessness, and the project we did right here on this channel back in February.
Hi everybody, I'm Mary Catherine Rand, the Executive Director at the Mary Parish Center. Welcome to Day 3 of Housing Hope 2021. Today is one of my favorite days because we get to announce our Champion of Hope Award recipient. This year, when deciding the Champion of Hope Award, it was clear, Abe Switters. The Champion of Hope is someone who has made a significant impact on the lives of survivors of interpersonal violence in our community. Welcome, Abe.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
So, what about the Mary Parish Center? How'd you hear about us?
That was a little random. So, Mr. Puckett passed away, unfortunately, last February. So, he was 15 years old. And on the 1-year anniversary of his passing, I wanted to do some kind of project to benefit my community. I'm fairly new here to Nashville, and I didn't know who to help, so I just made a post on our local Facebook page. And I said, hey, I've got a project coming up. Maybe if you guys could comment and tell me what organization is doing good in our community, then I can reach out to them and see if they'd allow me to kind of give back. And just dozens of organizations came up. I think you saw a lot of these comments. It was unbelievable how many organizations we have right here that are doing amazing things. And somebody commented late on that thread about the Mary Parish Center, which, despite being just down the road from my own little studio, I had never even known it was here. So I went to your website, and I guess it kind of blew me away. I saw stats like a leading cause of homelessness for women and children in America is interpersonal violence. And while I really had no experience in interpersonal violence, I certainly had a lot on the homeless side of things. And it just kind of terrified me to think of women, children, and even men getting out of abusive situations and having to go through then what I went through as the most terrifying part of my life. So it was pretty instant, to be honest with you. I saw the website, and it was maybe 30 seconds later that I knew that I had to reach out and just see if there was something we could do. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we can't thank you enough for what you've done for us this year. Raised over $17,000 for our residents, and another $15,000 in goods. So we just appreciate you so much, and that is why you are our clear champion of hope. And so we want to present you with a Champion of Hope Award.
That's so exciting. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I love it. And I cannot wait for my mom to see this. This is so cool. So we did a project for the Mary Parish Center on the 1-year anniversary of my dog passing at 15 years old, where I just encouraged people all over the world to donate $15 to this organization. And that $17,000 came in from people who had never even heard of the Mary Parish Center, had never even been to Nashville or Tennessee, and many of them not even to America. So for people to give that much, I think really goes to show you what an amazing thing you guys are doing here, that people can take one look at it and say, that's something I want to help. That's something I want to give back to, despite them being upwards of 2,000 or 3,000 miles away from this place. So it's a testament to what you guys are doing in our community.
Well, thank you. It's definitely a community effort, and we appreciate all of your support.
Yes, thank you for being here.
How cool is that? A guy that thought he was hopeless in addiction for almost 2 full decades getting an award called Champion of Hope. That award also kicked off the next project that I apologize I didn't get a YouTube video out for, but it was a new fundraiser and a new project for the same organization, the same survivors of domestic violence facing homelessness. And it was another week that we did this, blasted all over social media, and I'm so excited to show you what everybody together was able to accomplish, along with some help from some sponsors here in Nashville. Let's look at the stats. We had 309 individual donors last week that provided 475 items. And the grand total of fundraising, I can't wait for you to see this, this is unbelievable, $77,000. $77,000. It was unreal. What an incredible week. So you might be wondering, with all this awesome stuff happening in the last couple of weeks, and everything going so well, why did it take me so long to make this video? Well, let's take a look at it. After I got notice of the YouTube partnership program, I was so stoked that I had actually hit my goal. That after 9 months of just never giving up and always putting out the next video, I finally did what I set out to do, when in the past I would have given up a million times along the way. But I guess once I got there, I wasn't sure what I was striving towards anymore. You know, I hit this goal and I had nothing left. As much as I loved making videos, I also had a new member of the family, which took up a lot more of my time. And that was my hospice dog, Nana, who, by the way, is still doing amazing. You know, we've kind of settled on her walks and she's not going any farther, but in the home, she's made so much progress. She is so affectionate now and even sleeps next to both of the Pucketts in bed. So I guess I wondered about my purpose on YouTube and why I was spending so much time making the videos after I hit the mark that I set out to in the first place. So I went about living my life without the videos. And even some more pretty amazing things happened since the last video. I turned 36 years old. I had one of the best birthdays of my entire life. My best friends said they would take me anywhere, and I told them I wanted to be a kid again. So they took me out to the biggest water park in Nashville for the most fun I've had in a long time. Even though I'm pretty sure we were the oldest people there without any kids, it was amazing. And I even heard from some of you that week. Many of you know Hopeful Hope from my subreddit, who sent me all of these cakes to my work address. And not only just that, but bombarded me with balloons as well. It was so cool to get that at work. Here's a shot of me walking these items across Nashville, trying to get them back to my house. It was awesome. And my best friends who took me to the water park, well, they had another gift in mind too. They bought me 2 tickets. One of them for me, and one of them for my hospice dog, so I could take her to her first baseball game. Now, she's blind and deaf, but I still think she had an incredible time there with all the smells and all the love she got from strangers. Even though by the 7th inning stretch she was basically falling asleep. It was such an awesome experience and one thing we were able to cross off of her bucket list. Now, I love talking about the hospice dog, but I'm also very excited to tell you about what the younger Pucketts have done since the last video. Becoming a YouTube partner was one of the biggest goals I've ever set. But one even bigger than that has been running with my dogs for the last 11 months. As soon as PJ was old enough to run, we've been training him to run a full marathon. 26 miles for a 12-pound dog was no easy feat. And Mrs. Puckett was training as well, but I always had confidence that she would get there eventually. And I'm super excited to announce that in August, the dogs ran their very first full-length marathon. Now, it was all virtual, but they did it without any trouble whatsoever. They never slowed down once. I was so proud of them. And the hospice dog can't run. She's a little bit too old, but she was super excited for us when we came back to the house. 11 months of training. 11 months of going to bed early on Friday and Saturday night so we could wake up and run the next day. In the rain, in the snow, in the heat, and they finally did it. 26 miles. So I was hoping that the reason I would eventually come back and make another video was going to be just this awesome news that I couldn't wait to share with everybody. But unfortunately, that's just not the case. About 7 days before recording this video, I had a positive COVID-19 test, which really shook me up at first. One day I lost my sense of smell, which I didn't think twice about. The next day was my sense of taste, which was a little weird, but again, didn't think twice about. And the next day I went out to run a 10K before work, like we do almost every single day. And I got barely a mile into it and felt like I couldn't breathe. I was laying down on the sidewalk, felt like I was trying to breathe through a straw, really is what it felt like. I eventually walked back home, and it was just terrifying. I mean, we don't run fast. I don't breathe heavy. We go out and jog and have a good time, 55, 65 miles a week. So to not be able to run a single mile with my lungs just on fire, it was absolutely terrifying for me. I got home and I called my CFO at like 7 in the morning, freaking out. And he told me to go get tested, which I did, and my results came back in like 30 hours, pretty quick. That said I was positive. So the last 7 days I have spent in my studio with no human contact and no running. And that might sound maybe like a vacation to some, but for me it's been really tough. I don't think I ever realized how much running is such a huge part of my mental health stability, to be able to get that energy out and get those endorphins in, because the last week has not been a very good week at all. I even miss work, being able to socialize with everybody is about the only interaction I get in my life. So it's been a really tough week, kind of spiraling a bit. My apartment just got out of control, messy, and having like thoughts that I haven't had in years, and it's just been a really tough week. And I've survived. I mean, I'm almost over it now. I can go back to work in a couple of days, so I'm in the home stretch of it now. But I think I realized during this time how important it is for me to make these videos, and for nobody else out there except for me, to be able to communicate like this and be able to work through some of my own issues and then go back and hear what I say. I mean, I've never scripted anything in this channel, not even the voiceovers that you hear in like the montages and stuff. That's all just me, I don't know, freestyle talking, I guess, just like it is now. So it's been therapeutic to go back and hear what I say, just because I guess I never know what's going to come out. And these videos have been such a huge part of my recovery and mental health stability. So I'm happy to be back, even if it is under circumstances of, you know, some increased depression and anxiety over the last week with COVID. But most of my symptoms have subsided. I do feel pretty good, besides some lethargy. Most of you know I have myalgic encephalomyelitis, chronic fatigue syndrome. So that was certainly impacted in a huge way. You know, just not being able to get out of bed in the morning, as if I had anything to get out of bed for anyway. So it was fun to come back and make this video and reflect on all the good things that have happened since the last video came out, and to tell you a little bit that Nana is just doing amazing still. She's cuddling so much more now. She's been so affectionate, and her walks are getting so much faster too. The Pucketts are doing great. They're, you know, they had to take the whole week off running as well, so it's been really tough for them. But I hope tomorrow or the next day to give it another shot, and hopefully my lungs are back to normal. So I appreciate everyone checking out this video, so I can kind of brag about some of the cool stuff that has happened, but also talk, you know, some serious moments here. Somebody asked me the other day what was my biggest symptom of COVID, and I kind of jokingly said, well, I was incredibly pissed off, because that's exactly what I was. You know, I'm vaccinated, I mask up, I spend more time alone than just about anybody. You have to imagine my odds of catching COVID are about the lowest in America. And I must have caught it at work because I've done nothing social. So yeah, I was really upset. And not one of the symptoms, thank God, and this is thanks to the vaccine, not one of the symptoms were bad enough to have actually kept me out of work anyway. It was just being contagious, of course, and spreading that throughout a small office. So I look forward to getting back to work. I look forward to going for a really long run here pretty soon, and I look forward to making more videos. So thank you so much for being here. This is my first video as a YouTube partner, and hopefully we'll get some more cool stuff on the way. So until next time, whatever big thing we decide to do next, thank you so much for stopping by. Have a beautiful evening, everyone.